Let's go for a ride for the first time ever on our brand new property in the most insane wind you can imagine.
And not only is it cyclonic winds, this is also my first time riding in a big paddock. And I know to most people that is going to sound absolutely insane, but I've been blessed for the last 10 years to have the most beautiful arena. And now that we're setting up our very own horse property, obviously, we can't just put an arena in straight away. I'm not made of millions. So this is going to have to do. And there are parts of this ride that honestly I wasn't going to include because I wasn't riding my best. I was a little bit nervous, not about my horse, not about the winds, but because of the paddock. This paddock looks flat, but I can promise you, and our arena guy can promise you, that there are a lot of earthworks that have to go into making this flat enough to put an arena in. So for now, my horses are going to have to get really sure-footed, and I'm going to have to get used to that. I say to so many of my clients that feel nervous, often we're not actually nervous about what's going on, but we're nervous about the what-ifs. What if my horse falls over? What if I fall off? What if something really terrible happens? And instead, what I say is to flip that and look at it as an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to train my horses to ride in a situation where they haven't normally had to be ridden. And I'm sure people are going to pick this ride apart and say that I'm not riding nicely, but my riding on this day had to be effective. It didn't have to be pretty. I needed Swayze to finish this ride feeling confident so I can set him up to ride on this property the best that I could do. I needed him to use his back, I needed him to engage his core, I needed him to power from behind, and more than anything, I needed him to not end up on the forehand, because the last thing I want him to do is fall over or rush going down the hills, exactly like here. And whilst all that's going on, I've never ridden in this paddock, and I've had a little bit of a look around, but it was still a little bit soggy from the crazy rain we had the other day. So I was constantly making sure that I wasn't going to run into a pothole or fall over. But he just went from strength to strength. We had a little canter. I made sure our canter didn't get too big or too fast because, again, I didn't want to end up in a situation where I fell into a hole because I was going way too fast to see it. At the start of this ride, I was thinking, oh my God, how am I going to ride my horses and train my horses on this paddock for the next year or however long it takes to put an arena in. But at this stage, I started realizing that my horses are going to be so sure-footed, they're going to be so confident, and most of the shows up here are on grass. So I'm setting them up to have the most success they can have at shows. And honestly, once I got out of my own head, I was having so much fun. I mean, what horse girl doesn't grow up just wanting to gallop around big open fields on her horse? And that is exactly what I have. Lots of big open fields to gallop around on. I am also just so incredibly proud of this horse. When I bought him as an 8-month-old foal and broke him in, I didn't really know if he was going to be anything special. And he has turned out to be such a dream. I haven't ridden this horse in about 4 weeks. He literally got here on Monday. This is the first time he's seen this paddock. And like I said, the weather was crazy. And he was just such a perfect boy. And I am so excited for the future. I just love him so much.